Well, Dennis Dodd not quite ready to move the defending champs off his one line despite a couple of shaky performances in a row, and Alabama just blasting Arkansas with their backup quarterback. Georgia 1, Bama 2. Both teams hosting games on CBS this Saturday. Alabama 24-point favorite at home against A&M. Georgia a 30-point favorite against Auburn. No changes to Dennis's top five. Ole Miss, the big mover, up 10 spots after getting past Kentucky. The Rebels, one of 4 SEC teams in Dennis's top 10. Let's get Double D on in here. Dennis Dodd joining us on HQ. Dennis, why Georgia number 1 over Bama after that performance?
Blame yourself, right? I had a thought about this after the fact. Both teams won. Georgia stays number 1. And then this almost mirrors Alabama's 1 point, get out of jail free card at Texas, in that Georgia had to make a fourth quarter comeback. Now, Alabama had the lead going into the fourth quarter, but then ran away in the fourth quarter against Arkansas. And the thing I came away with is just for now, Georgia still played the most consistent ball. Alabama has shown holes, particularly in the secondary. I didn't know they could run the ball that well like they did on Saturday. And Nick Saban, he has a plan, Chris, for lightning delays. Like he sketches out what's going to happen minute by minute in the locker room. He had to have some sort of plan with Jalen Milroe if and when Bryce Young got hurt, and he executed it to perfection. Now, the defense gave up 23 points in a row at Arkansas, but he just leaned on the running game. 242 yards, no passing yards in the fourth quarter, and they just hammered Arkansas. So, no, a case can be made. I'll say that, but I left Georgia number 1.
All right, so Georgia number 1 in Dennis's power rankings, Alabama number 1 in the AP poll, but it's very close. You had been reluctant, I guess I would say, about Clemson and putting them up close to the top 5. They broke into your top 10, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, now up to number 6. Back-to-back wins against ranked teams. Are you ready to say that this is a championship contender in the Clemson Tigers?
I am. I will make that statement right now. Death taxes and winning over NC State usually doesn't. And that's what Clemson has done 16 out of the last 18 years. This is a top 10 matchup. Even though the score was 30-20, you never had the feeling that Clemson was going to give it away, particularly when NC State led early 10-6. And I just call him DJU now, because that's what it is, Clemson. It's DJU. DJ Ucla leads a 11-play, 75-yard methodical drive, and then caps it off by lunging into the end zone for the go-ahead touchdown. Clemson never gave up the lead, and that kind of defines this quote-unquote rivalry over the years. This was NC State's chance to get into the big time, to get into the national conversation, to get into the top 4 conversation, and they did what they usually do. Yes, I know they beat Clemson last year in overtime at NC State, but they didn't do much with it. They finished 9-3, didn't get to the championship game. So Clemson is back. DJ Uiagalelei was masterful for the second straight week. Will Shipley, a tremendous running game. The front 7 was beat up. Brian Bresee for Clemson was out with a blood test or blood disorder. He will be back. But they shut down Devin Leary, who coming off that 35 touchdown, 5 interception game last year when he might have been the best quarterback in the league. Not so much this year. So Clemson back in the national conversation, I would say, right now.
And that win against Wake Forest looks even better after we saw what the Demon Deacons did at Doak. And that game at Doak in a couple of weeks for Clemson looks a little bit easier to handle. Let's move to your neck of the woods, Big 12 country. Kansas has stolen all the headlines, Dennis. They are 2-0 in conference now, 5-0 overall. They just beat Iowa State. How about Kansas and maybe to a lesser extent Kansas State and TCU stealing the headlines from the highest ranked team, Oklahoma State?
Yeah, well, think about this. Think about Saturday, the Red River Shootout, right? This is the reason media and network buyers buy the Big 12. They are buying this game. They pay millions and billions for everything else, but they are buying the rights to the Red River Shootout. Oklahoma and Texas are each 3-2. They're combined 6-4. They're out of the ranking. And you're left with the game of the day, TCU at Kansas. Sonny Dykes is going to be some sort of National Coach of the Year candidate after what he's done. Max Duggan, a guy who didn't even have the job before the season, is the leading pass efficiency in the country. Kansas, meanwhile, has proven it can win any way you want. Now, they benefited from 3 missed field goals by Iowa State on Saturday to win 14-11. So they're not just a team that can outscore you, but they can win either way. They've proven that now. And the talk about Lance Leopold just gets deeper and deeper and more worrisome for Kansas. You have Wisconsin open. You have Nebraska open. What else is going to open up? If nothing else happens, Chris, Lance Leopold is going to be rich beyond his wildest dreams from the time when he was at Wisconsin Whitewater and went year to year on his contract in Division III.
Mandy, you ready for the Red River?
No. So I want to add something, Dennis, that's like so depressing, which these tickets are insane. Normally hundreds and hundreds of dollars. If you type in OU Texas tickets on the Twitter, all it pops up is for sale, for sale, for sale, for sale, for
Nobody
sale,
wants
for sale.
Wow.
Nobody wants them. I'm very sad.
Can they save the season with a win, Oklahoma?
Yeah, I don't know. Ask Dennis that.
No. The answer is no, but I just meant
No.
for you as a fan.
For me,
Yeah.
I will love my team no matter what.
All right, well, let's see if they fall to 0-3 this upcoming weekend. Let's move to the Pac-12, Dennis. Boy, 4 teams in your top 15 are out of the Pac-12. Are we buying in this season, or are they going to let us down again?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to play each other, so there will be some fallout, obviously. But I've got 6 in there overall. I got Washington State in there towards the bottom. But yeah, the story this week in the Pac-12 is UCLA. In Chip Kelly's 5th year, he finally turned the corner. They boat raced, really. I think Washington on Friday, it was 40-32, but Washington scored late. And I think what we're seeing is the maturation, again in year 4, of Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the quarterback, who said after the game, y'all wrote us off, we're back, we're coming back. The problem is with UCLA is, what is the biggest total at UCLA? The amount of people in the stands or the points they're scoring on the field? You got to get excited about this team. They're better than that. It's not 100-degree temperatures anymore. It's not just the beach. This is a great team. USC's right there. There should be more football interest in LA, but USC right there with USC right there with UCLA. And how about that for a going away present for the Pac-12? Those 2 teams meet for the championship game.
UCLA hosting Utah this week. USC hosting Washington State. Could be 2 really good games, at least very interesting games going into this thing. Dennis Dodd with his power rankings. You can find them all on CBSSports.com. Latest Cover 3 podcast is on the latest firing. Paul Chryst out at Wisconsin. What's next? And coaching candidates to watch, like Leipold out of Kansas. Where's he going to go? He can write his ticket anywhere right now.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.